Have you ever been accused of having an anal personality? One of those kind of people that notices every mistake and always has a great attention to detail? Well, I guess Rodney and I are anal, and we talk about that today, along with other things like this gender neutral generation that we're in, the royal family, in particular Prince Harry, and the latest NBA scandal. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
And even when you're not doing nothing, because I'll be sitting up here, man. Yesterday, no, Tuesday. I was like, hey, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow at such and such time. She said, I thought that was Thursday. I said, well, tomorrow is Thursday. She's like, no, it's Wednesday, boy. I was like, okay. I'm glad you told me. I'd have showed up there and they'd be like, what are you doing here? So, man, that time, I remember, I can't remember if it was my dad or her dad. Somebody said, like when they were retiring, said, no, every day is Saturday for me. So I'm beginning to see that now. Because, you look up, oh, it's Saturday, And
And I have to do that. I mean, there's times where I'll wake up in the morning and I have to sit, lay there and think to myself, now, what day is today?
yeah.
Yes, what day is today? Because like you say, on the weekend, we sort of sleep in a little bit more kind of thing. And I'll wake up and I'm like, okay, now what day is today?
Yeah. That's it, man. And shoot, now I'm in the habit now of getting up. First thing I do is grab that phone so I can look at the date and the time, to get it. But yeah, I still rather have that though. I'm good with it. This lady was laughing at me and Sam's because I went over to Sam's the other day and picked up some stuff. So she gave me got my change back. And so it was a mixture of ones, fives, tens, and 20s, right? So I'm standing there holding up the line. I got to rearrange, get it right to go in my wallet, because the digits have to be in the same order. She goes, oh, there you go. I said, yeah, I've been told I was anal, but now I guess I am. I had to do it.
I thought I was one of the only people that did that.
Man. I'm telling you. Because I want to be able, if I need to just reach in there and get something, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I am too, man. I went to the ATM the other day and gave me my money. I wanted to always count it because I said, well, this is a machine.
Yep.
So they can make mistakes too. So I'm counting my money and I'm like, damn, why can't they put all the bills in the same direction? Here I am counting. I get 2 or 3 count. I got to turn them around and get the. I said, now this is crazy. I'm sitting in the car. All I need to do is count. I don't need to make sure what direction they're in. And I'm getting mad because I'm like, damn, why can't they get them all in the same direction?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm the same way too, man. I have a money clip, but I got the bills, by denomination, and I always make sure I got a dollar bill on the back side because I like, somebody happen to look over there and see me what I'm doing. They look and see a bigger bill. Like, oh, you got some money. So I always make sure I got a dollar on the end. So if they look, they say, well, man, he ain't got nothing but a dollar. So
yeah. I when I do that, I put the big bills in my wallet, and then I roll up some lower denominations and put them in my pocket. So if anybody give me your money, I reach in my pocket here. You got all them ones and fives.
That's the way I am too. I got to have money in a certain order, and there's been times that I've just sort of stuck the money down in my pocket, which I don't do very often, but I just sort of stick it down in my pocket, and I just feel I feel awkward with it like that because I'm not used to sticking my hand in my pocket and having all these bills down in there, and I can't wait till I get home and get to some place that I can straighten all that stuff out and put it in my clip. So yeah, I'm the same way too.
That's it. Just like if I go to the credit union and take out a sum of money, they always, well, do you want an envelope? And I'm like, nah, because that means I got to put it in my front pocket, and I stick my hand. I got my phone down there. Ain't no telling what else is in there. And I always have this nightmare if I pull it out and my stuff hits the floor and I keep going,
Right.
So I'm like, no, I don't need an envelope. I'll put it in my wallet till I can get somewhere and straighten it out.
Yeah, that's the way I am too.
And I wrote off the show. I saw it a couple of times. I wrote it off because that's all they do. They cater to women. He was talking to this woman who hits her old man. And I was just marveling at the fact now, if the shoe was on the other foot, oh, they'd be piling on this dude. It's almost like they was giving her an excuse. Well, she suffers from PTSD from the way she grew. Oh, like hell, her ass ain't seen no PTSD yet. Because if she'd have hit me, I'd have knocked. Well, never mind. she she'd have had some PTSD. But yeah, she was justifying it. So then he was, siding with her kind of thing, and getting on the dude. Well, you have to be more understanding. Well, what do you do to set her off? I'm like, man, that's almost excusing it.
Matter of fact, I was reading a comic this morning, and they the mother asked the son something about, "Are you running for homecoming king?" And he said something about, "Well, no, mom, we don't call it that anymore. We call it homecoming royalty." So this, what's it called, non-binary and
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. That's
So the question is, are you running for king or queen then?
yeah, yeah. And well, my question would be, okay, if you get selected, do you have a position? Are you the king? Are you the queen? Are you, because we had a little situation with this. I don't know if I told you about this MTSU student who wanted to volunteer at the museum,
Mm-mm,
and
mm-mm,
well, I mean, it's a girl. Her name was Ryan, and
hmm,
she had sent an email out to the guy that's the curator saying, that they would like to volunteer as part of their program they were in at MTSU.
hmm.
And on the signature block they had something like they/them or something like that.
Oh,
And
that's new.
when he sent the email around, people saying, yeah, we think it'd be a good idea, blase kind of thing. And then uh, I said, did y'all notice the way they did the signature block, that they them, or that may not have been the words they used, but it was something like that. Nobody but like, no, what does that mean? I said, well, there are people who are, I guess you call it gender neutral,
Hmm.
that don't want to be identified by those, pronouns like him and her and things of that nature. And I said, that's how they usually let you know that in an email, is they put that down there at the signature block. And when she came in, and started working there, the guys and the curator started talking to her, and she basically said, yeah, that it wasn't a big deal, but I just like to let people know that I'm consider myself gender neutral and all this kind of stuff. But he's older than I am, so he's definitely old school. And he's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't remember all that kind of stuff. To me, she's a girl, and I call her, and I say, I said, well, I said, I understand that. I said, but if you can remember sometime, I said, just instead of saying her and all that kind of stuff, or you're speaking to them, I said, you may just want to use their name instead of a pronoun
Right.
kind of thing.
That's
He said,
true.
okay, I'll try to remember that. But yeah, that was the first time I'd really, sort of had seen that in an actual situation.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like, boy, I tell you, it seemed like it can get so complicated at times.
Well, it is, and however, I applaud them for fighting for who they are, but by the same token, you also have to show a little empathy for those people who come from a different generation, who that's foreign to, because to an older person to call you miss, that's a sign of respect.
Hmm.
It's not disrespecting who you want to be, claim to be, or positioning yourself to be. So it has to be some empathy on both sides of it, and understand, because man, it
Yeah.
changes so quick. I like to think I'm pretty much a little up on some of the stuff, but hell, it changes so quick. I don't even know what's going on,
Yeah.
and it just whoever's writing. I don't know who's writing, but they just have no clue in sentence structure, or they'll refer to they'll say a woman's name, and then in the next line, well, he said da 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 da. I'm like, he? You just said it was a female, and then it'll have he. I'm like, are y'all shortening the words for space or what? But it just kind of sticks out.
And once again, that's sometimes I tell myself that's that analness coming out in you,
Could
because
be.
I seem like I notice that stuff more.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. It seems like I catch that kind of stuff more than I ever have.
Yeah,
Whether it's
yeah,
reading or whether somebody like on a newscast, I'll be listening to the newscast and they'll say,
yeah,
um, they'll what did the little girl say? Something the other day about. Um, she said something like, "Well, it's absolutely probably that they'll something." I'm like, "Well, if it's absolutely, how can it be probably?" You know, and
yeah,
and, and I'll say something, and I'm thinking, are you just getting to the point to where every little thing you hear, you just have to say something about it? I said, "It ain't like you'll probably speak proper English or whatever all the time either." But I just that
yeah,
kind of stuff catches my
yeah,
attention, just like when it's in writing. I'll be reading a news story sometimes, and I've caught things on a major headline in an article. Like I'll be out on, on MSN somewhere. I'll see a major headline. I'm like, wait a minute, that
yeah,
ain't right. And I said,
exactly.
how did that get out there with either the wrong word or whatever it may be? And I said, well, I guess maybe it's some of them situations where they're doing their own editing. They're writing the
Yeah.
story and they're writing the headline. Nobody's checking it before it goes live. And I'm like, no,
Well,
yeah. So,
and now they're so busy wanting to be the first one to get it out. They just want to get it out.
hmm
They
hmm
don't care about the language. That's just like I've read a couple of articles when they'll say me myself. I'm like, well, who the hell else is there? Why don't we try I? Well, me myself. I'm like, they're the one that come from the hood. That's really my pet peeve. Point blank. Period. Okay, now, how you gonna end that sentence 3 times? Point blank. Period. and
yeah.
that stuff sticks out too. Man. And is boy, they just done messed up. Is you crazy? I can't even hear the rest of the message.
Yeah, that's the way it be. I mean, sometimes I'm thinking, especially when I see it on like I say, news reports
News,
and
yeah,
things of that nature, I'm like,
yeah,
of all them people standing out around there, how
yep,
did you end up with this person?
yep,
Because I mean, they not only the words and the language and stuff like that. Like I say, here in Tennessee, as I say, they seem like they go out and find out the person with the least amount of teeth in their head and ask it. And I'm thinking, they're not listening to what that person's saying. All they're seeing is their mouth
yep.
with all them teeth missing and stuff. I was like, that don't give a lot of credibility to your news story.
I'm here to
when,
tell you.
when you got to look at that.
I always say they're trying to paint a picture when they do that because ordinarily they wouldn't even looked at that person. You know, they wouldn't even put the microphone in their face. But it just depends on what it is. But I you know, I like you. I question myself sometimes, man. Why do you worry about it? It just ain't right. And I think part of it though too is that uh, effective writing that we had to do in the military, and then even your subordinates when you're assisting them or helping them do a more effective EPR or something, you become more conscious. I think of it. Uh, that being not necessarily being critical, but wanting to be uh, uh, correct. It just I don't know. It gets me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. As a matter of fact, that was something something I saw the other day. I was out there reading about my Cowboys, and that linebacker Michael Parsons was talking about. He had a real good game and everything, and he said, "Yeah, Sunday morning before the game, I went to chapel actually, and the chapel man said, and I'm like, what the hell is a chapel man?" Once again, right there in writing, in the article, and I'm thinking, what is a chapel man? And I'm thinking, did you go to a Catholic chapel, a Jewish service. I mean, and I just looked at that and I'm like, now this is, I don't think he's a college graduate, but I know he went to college a couple of years. And I read it, and he said, "Yeah, I went to chapel this morning. The chapel man said."
Man,
I'm like, "Chapel man." I'm like, "Okay."
bruh, I'm serious, man. It's hilarious when you look at it. I was like, okay, all right, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it makes you scratch your head sometimes.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
This new enlightened world is not so enlightened when you really get down to it, man. Everybody's playing that game, perpetrating the fraud, pretending like they, because every college educated person ain't college educated, you know.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I went to college. Yeah, you sure did. You was asleep a few days in there, weren't
Yeah,
you?
that's for sure. That's for sure.
But
Um, did you watch all the ceremonies for our queen that passed away?
no, I'm not a royalist, bro. Uh, I sat there and looked at some of it because you couldn't every channel you turn it to, even on the sports channels, they had that crap on there. I mean, no disrespect to her as a person, but I ain't nobody royal to me. You ain't no more royal than I am, damn it. And but I'm sitting there looking at all them degenerates they got up there calling them royalty. You got Prince Edward up there and Prince Andrew up there flying on the plane with them little underage girls and screwing around all over the place. Then his ex-wife Fergie sitting up there. They caught her in one of them palaces they got with the pool boy and all that. A bunch of degenerates. And you talk about royalty. Yeah, yeah. The new king over there looked like I don't know what, and that Gila monster he married to. I'm like, man, get this mess off of here. I ain't watching that shit. You know,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Well,
yeah,
the one that I feel for a lot of time he messing with the girls about is Prince Harry.
mm-hmm.
And even though I do have a lot of respect for him, to tell you the truth, I just mess with them about it. I said, I bet he's thinking back now, thinking, why not go to talk to Tiger Woods or
Parents.
Clarence Thomas? Why not
Mm-hmm.
go talk to some of them brothers about man, why they didn't go out and marry one of these sisters? I'm finding out now. I said he done married that sister, well, that half sister,
Yeah,
and she done got him disemboweled from the royal family, and she done
yes,
got all
sir.
this stuff going on. And I said to myself, I know what she did though. She put it on old Harry,
Yes, sir.
and then as they were laying there in that premarital bliss, she done told him, "Well, Harry, it's either me or the queen."
Yeah, yeah.
And
She,
the queen can't put it on you like I just did.
hey, she's a piece of work herself. She done especially being that Hollywood life before that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, she got with that young boy because I think she's in her early 40s and he in his mid to late 30s. So she went in there and put some of that cougar on him
That's
and
what I said too.
made him tell be like old boy in that Richard Pryor movie. Call your mom, tell her I ain't never coming home again. Yeah, she got out there. She making him make a choice, me or them.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was messing with him with. I said, "Yeah, I know what happened." I said, "He went on and then got with her. She put it on him, and then look at him now.
yeah,
He done gave up his family. He done disowned everybody. He done gave up all that just for her." And I said, "I know exactly what happened."
yeah, gave up his title,
Yeah,
all of that, boy. I'm like, man, that's something else. And they worried about what color little Archie gonna be. They don't
right.
want no flavor coming up in that palace. So yeah, no, I ain't pay no attention too much to it other than what I had to see whenever you turn the TV on. But and then they still carrying it on Charles up there, he finally got to be the king. Now he acting a damn fool. Talking about cutting the staff and doing all this other stuff. You keep your ass off them damn horses playing polo all the damn time and start spending all the taxpayers' money. But no,
Yeah,
I ain't no fan of them.
I know somebody posted something on my Facebook page. Something they shared where somebody said, yeah, he the first person they ever known that 70 years old and say, I got my first job.
Yeah, exactly. You done had the world's longest on the job training that
That's
anybody
right.
ever had. But now he's talking about cutting down the staff
Hmm.
and doing all kind of stuff, man. I was like, man, this dude right here, he's just like a lot of dudes when they take over the business from the parent, it goes down. You know, he ain't had no investment. I saw something. I don't know if it was a parody or whatnot, but you know how they have them certain sites that'll put stuff on there,
Hmm.
and it's not true. They got a little disclaimer on there, but I just happened to see it. And they were talking about he cutting down the staff. So like, well, who gonna be turning down the bed for his ass and ironing his shirts? And then they said, what did they say? And I bet he ain't even never had to wash himself in the shower. They had a bunch of stuff on. I was cracking up, man. They're like, yeah, little prince that spoil your whole life, and but yeah, man, so he getting ready to cut that staff down.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard he was going to do, and I've always always had my, you know, concerns about, that whole sort of lifestyle, anyway. I mean, for people who just was sort of, figureheads in some ways, they have a lot of money, they get a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah. Oh,
indeed. And just like here with corporate America, then the 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 peasants out there want to justify it by, well, they're the job creators. They ain't creating no damn job. They're just taking your damn money, paying you slave wages. Hell, just like the monarchy over there. They always talking about how they draw tourists over there and all that. Oh, please. Yeah, they draw some tourists. They ain't drawing that damn much to keep you year round for 80, 90 years. So I'm not a fan of the whole monarchy thing.
yeah. And they had, there was a lot of people that were saying, the history, is not the best history either, with all the,
No, it's not.
colonization that they were doing. And,
That's
so
right.
they had their own, sort of slave trade and thing that was going on during that time too.
Yes,
And,
indeed.
and they've had to go, well, I must admit some of the more, you know, younger, as a matter of fact, Charles and some of them have apologized, and some of those countries have, uh, you know, severed their relationship with the
Hmm.
crown and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it just like anybody or any other country, there's always some history that they're not the proudest of.
Oh, no doubt. But how about a lot of these suckers, especially these first world countries, don't want to acknowledge it. And at best, they're trying to minimize it. And but just like a couple of professors that I saw of African descent, when the queen died, they were like, one of them said, "Well, I hope her ass suffered as much as she put suffrage on some of the African countries that they went and conquered and stuff." And
Hmm.
people were coming out at her about that. She was like, I don't care. I'm just telling the truth like it is. It's kind of like CRT. You don't want to hear the damn truth, you know." She said she reigned over a regime that caused a lot of people to suffer and that kind of thing. So no, I don't have no empathy for her. So hey, you know, it's easy for those who ain't had the be direct descendants of that to say something bad about it. But when you've been a direct descendant of some of that cruelty, hey, I ain't finna be no sympathizer either. You know.
Yeah, it's like anything else. They always try to put a good face on things, even though there's some ugliness that's going on.
Hmm.
And then like I said, I think now with social media and things of that nature, you just can't hide that stuff and sweep it under the carpet like in the old days when
Yeah.
there was those sort of gentleman agreements that you just didn't go there with the royal family or whoever it may have been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those days and time have changed. It's not the same, that's for sure.
Well, they were also help that image was perpetuated because there wasn't much media out there to show how their assets really are.
Hmm.
Just like with social media now, that came out, then they were exposed in a lot of situations over there that would have been swept under the rug. I mean, it's just like here in the sports world over here. Them beat writers back in the day when Babe Ruth was out there screwing everything that walked, they had a gentleman agreement. They didn't report all that, but letting Nick Cannon go out here and hit up a bunch of old girls. Now they're trying to make him like he's some kind of bad dude. Plus, I mean, even with Emi Udoka, he ain't the first, and he hell is going on now. I'm trying to figure out whose wife it was because somebody got really pissed off about it because she ain't the first wife that's gave up something to some of these ball players and front office people. All of a sudden, this whole judgment of the dude. Okay, let's say they have these contracts about their personal behavior kind of deal. Okay, well, what problem does he have? They say it was consensual, so he didn't rape her. Uh, he ain't married, even though people tried to put Nia Long as his wife. They just girlfriend and boyfriend. So what did he do wrong? You might have your judgments on what he did, but he ain't done nothing wrong. Hell, you got Brett Favre's ass down there. He done stole and done every damn thing else, and tried to hit on a Philadelphia cheerleader up there and stuff, and he's still walking around just fine. His image is intact. That's my whole thing. I'm not gonna sit here and judge a man because if you judge a man, if he didn't got a little something on the side, well, half the whole no, 99% of the damn United States men can be judged in that. And again, what does that say about the women? Because if they cheating, they're cheating. Well, most times they're cheating with a woman.
Well, that and I guess your boy Stephen A. came out and said basically that after the story broke. He was like, "Well, what about all these owners and all these other
Yeah.
people that had that?" And then somebody brought up that story of that baseball player, Rafael Palmeiro. I guess he was sleeping with just about every player's wife on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, it came out later on, but it's like, okay, that boys will be boys kind of thing.
Right.
And people were saying the same thing. If it was consensual, what what's the big deal? Yeah, I know. Yeah, they got those uh, morality clauses and all that kind of stuff in these
Mm-hmm.
contracts these days uh, to try to make guys do the right thing, if you will. But I'm the same way. I mean, it takes two to tango, and yeah, he was saying that that's gone on before, and I guess the wife, got a phone call from him and went outside to take the phone call
Mm-hmm.
and had I guess, one of those Ring
Yeah.
doorbell cameras,
Yeah.
and it
Shaq's phone.
yeah, got captured on the Ring doorbell camera, and that's how the husband found out about it and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's the thing about it though. When you messing around and stuff, you got to be careful. I mean, you got to cover your bases all the time, and you can something you never even think about.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but like you say, and I don't. I mean, she was with the organization too. I haven't read an article. I don't mean I ain't seen it that of what they did with her. Have you heard anything about
No,
any kind of
I ain't even
sanctions
heard.
about her?
I ain't even heard who she is. All I
Yeah,
heard was she was just the one that arranged the travel thing for the Celtics, and she did it for Nia Long and all of this kind of stuff. But ain't nobody said nothing. I mean, it's almost like they've absolved her of any fault in this situation. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just like, man, this is just not correct. And for them, of all things, he's a single man. It ain't for you to determine how much into it he is with Nia Long, how serious it is. But he's a single man. He ain't broke no laws as far as he's concerned. And if he's not moral, that's still not a reason for him to be suspended for a year. You didn't suspend Jerry Jones' ass. He been down there screwing them little girls for the longest time. His old ass. You
Yeah.
didn't suspend old boy from New England down there at the massage parlor, but you're gonna try to deal with Watson. Watson is single too. And half of them old cows wasn't worth a quarter no way. Hell, hey, please. But
Well,
that's
I
double
guess
standard.
Jerry Jones had paid off his, I guess illegitimate daughter,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
she came back and I guess wrote some kind of article or something, was part of some kind of thing, and he went and sued her. I guess she had some kind of non-disclosure clause as part of
Mm-hmm.
the settlement thing. So yeah, it's been going on forever. Yeah, do you have all your paper money turned the same way? Well, if you do, you're probably anal too. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School. Join us next time. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.